It's Tuesday of UAB week here for the Tennessee football team. Alongside Patrick Brown, I'm Ryan Callahan with this Vols 24/7 No-Huddle. Spoke with a couple Tennessee assistant coaches, a few Tennessee players as the Vols continue to move past Saturday's overtime loss to Georgia and get ready for Saturday's game against UAB, 12:45 Eastern Time at Neyland Stadium, third straight home game for the Vols. So it's obviously kind of a week to reflect on what's gone right and what's gone wrong and look ahead a little bit. Some interesting stuff today from Kelsey Pope in particular at the wide receiver position, where obviously Chris Brazzell was the star of the show Saturday. Huge game against Georgia, getting some NFL draft hype from Todd McShay and things like that. And Kelsey Pope, rightfully so, pointing out some of the areas where Chris Brazzell has improved and why he's started to break out this way.
Yeah, Brazzell talked in the spring about some of the missed plays he had last season. He had a lot of targets, played a lot of snaps, but didn't have a lot of production. And Kelsey Pope said today that during the offseason they went over his target film and looked at some of those missed opportunities and say, here's some things you can do a little differently. And you obviously saw him go up and make a couple of really nice catches in sort of single man coverage situations against Georgia. And Pope said that, when you go and see what you did wrong, you're able to go work on it. But he's also able to build confidence doing it. I think it's pretty clear that Brazzell's playing with a lot of confidence right now. And so that's a great job by Brazzell to sort of come along. It's sort of the second year thing that we've seen with some of these receivers. Ryan with Jalen Hyatt, obviously his second season in this offense, he clicked. Dante Thornton, who Pope said has some similarities to Brazzell just in terms of their build and their skill set. So Brazzell's been able to sort of put some things together and play really well. And really all three of them, if you want to throw Braylon Staley and Mike Matthews in there as well. And Pope talked about how just the evolution of the offense, they're doing a lot of different things. They're not just sideline to sideline all the time now, a lot of bunch, a lot of different route concepts. And Pope said that as a staff, they came back from the Ohio State game and said, hey, we got to change some things and do some different things. And he said that the receivers were saying that they wanted some different stuff too, probably some more pro-like, NFL-like concepts that there's been that criticism out there from some of the players that have gone through the draft process after leaving Tennessee. Certainly those guys I don't think are denigrating anything that was done at Tennessee. Obviously they played really well. When you look at Hyatt and Thornton, Cedric Tillman, some of those guys, they succeeded in this offense. But the old question, does it prepare you for the NFL? That's been out there. So they're doing a lot more different stuff out of bunch formations and things like that. And Pope said that was partly the staff saying it needed to change some things, and certainly I think taking the input of some of their players too, that they wanted to do some different things to kind of diversify the offense. And so far it's clicked really well. The receivers are all playing really well. I think there's some interchangeability with those three guys, and that was such a big concern all offseason, right? It's been a strength so far this season. So credit to Pope and his players for how they've prepared and how they've performed so far.
Pretty impressive. We're talking about how well the offense has played, and at the same time, maybe a little bit concerned about the defense. We spoke with Linebackers coach William Inge, talked about his unit a little bit on second and third downs, especially in Saturday's game. Some mixed results, I'd say, against Georgia. What did you make of what William Inge had to say today?
Yeah, I asked him if what was the big picture sort of takeaway for the defense. What do they need to get better at? And he said third downs were sort of the main thing. And I think Georgia on third and fourth down was 10 of 19, and some of it, it's such a close game that you make one stop in a different situation and it's a different outcome. And he pointed out second down too, and I'm thinking of a situation, I think it was in the first half where Georgia was in third and long or second and long. They get a screen pass for enough yards to go for it on fourth down. They convert on fourth down. They end up going and scoring. He sort of touched on that as well. Some second down, better play on second down can help you be better set up for third down. But they've just got to get off the field a little bit better defensively. And those third down calls are always sort of, I don't want to say you're guessing as a play caller, but you're kind of hoping that your call doesn't get beat by a better caller. In some cases, a better play. Georgia made some plays too. So I think this defense is trying to get back on track, and I think that's what they're emphasizing this week.
Yeah, Joshua Joseph talked about that as well, just about the number of points they're giving up, and just not used to playing this way. He's kind of a self-reflective guy and willing to kind of critique himself in addition to the team. But interesting to hear, talking with Idris Farouk, the sophomore safety, he didn't seem to be quite as concerned about the defense. Joseph was more willing to say, no, we're giving up too many points, giving up too many things. Anything else that jumped out to you about what Joseph had to say?
Well, he's obviously played really well, and I think that position showed up really strongly in the Georgia game too. You saw Caleb Herring flash a lot more than probably he has. Jordan Ross, I thought when he was on the field, you knew it because he was making plays. He had almost a hit on the quarterback that was intercepted. It might have been a fumble. I don't know. It was a penalty, so it didn't count. But he also had a play where he sent the right tackle to another dimension. On a play where he didn't even get the hit. Dominic Bailey got a hit, and Gunnar Stockton just made a great throw getting planted in the turf. But Ross and Herring both made plays. Joseph has a sack in all 3 games. He only had 1.5 sacks last season, so he's certainly improved. But like you said, he's like, I'm not good enough. I got to keep getting better, and I think he's trying to sort of apply that to the entire defense. I think it's pretty clear this defense, they set a standard last season. I don't think they played to it on Saturday, and they would probably say they didn't play to it against Syracuse either. So they're certainly trying to get back. And the other thing Joseph said that I thought was interesting was that we're not using injuries as an excuse. He said that he's not even saying that the other team making plays is an excuse. He said that there's a lot of things that Tennessee's defense can't control that they're not, and that's where they need to get better.
No doubt, and that's we'll see if they can clean some of those things up beginning Saturday against UAB. Got another SEC game coming up next week at Mississippi State. We found out yesterday that'll be a 4:15 Eastern Time kickoff in Starkville, Mississippi. So got a week to get some things better, maybe against a lesser opponent. We'll see if Tennessee can make the most of it on Saturday at Neyland Stadium. For Patrick Brown, I'm Ryan Callahan.